Welcome to a very special and long overdue video. What we're going to be doing today is running through the whole animation ecosystem in Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to be teaching you how to do basically everything to do with animation and creating a third-person shooter game. So in this course or tutorial series, it's going to be jam-packed with absolutely everything, and it should be a complete guide on animation. So we're going to be creating a fresh project, changing the default skeleton and animation blueprint, adding the animation starter pack onto an introduction to the animation blueprint, and adding metahumans into our game using the Metahuman plugin, and basically everything in between. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. So let's just clarify something before we actually start, and this is that I learnt this through the animation ecosystem for game development on the Epic Games website. So if you want to actually read the documentation for what I'm teaching you right now, there will be a link at the top of the description, and you can just click that and read through it if you prefer that. Right, with all that said, let's start with the basics. We're going to create a brand new third person template, and we're going to rename this UE5_animation. Okay, sweet. So once you've done that, press Control Space, open up the third person character folder. We're going to go open the BP third person character and change the skeletal mesh asset to SK Mani and the animation blueprint to ABP Mani. This is just so that the animations fit a little bit better. So we're going to need some animations, and what we're going to do, we're going to import them from the Anim starter pack on the marketplace for Epic Games. So once you've searched it, just click add to project and it'll prompt you with this. You're going to show all projects and change your version down to the most recent one. Now with the animations added, what we're going to do is open up ABP Mani. You can just search it and double click it to open. And let's click the anim graph, and we're going to go into our main states. So once we're in our anim graph, we're just going to click main states, and this here is our locomotion, land and to land. And each one of these will pick which animation we're going to play if we are in that state. Yeah, so basically every one of these has a animation inside, or maybe a couple of animations. So let's just double click on land, and as you can see, we have our sequence player, and this will blend it with our other one, but we will get into that later. It'll make more sense later on in the video. And our to land here is a state alias, not just a normal state, and that has checkboxes so that we don't have a load of arrows going everywhere. And as you can see, it can only transition if we're in jump or for loop. Like I said, this will make more sense a little bit later on. But now what I want to do is add a metahuman, so we're going to go edit, plugins, and we're going to search for Metahuman and enable the Metahuman plugin, and we'll be using this later on in the video. Next we want to go to window, and we're going to open up Quixel Bridge. If you don't have this, you need to install it via the Epic Games launcher. And if we go over here, we can just see our metahumans. So I've created this metahuman. You can create your own, just do it on the website or click start MHC Metahuman Creator. And once you've downloaded it, you can just add it. If you don't have one, like a custom one, you can just use any of the default ones. It works perfectly fine. So next, just click import, and we're going to change the skeleton to, where is it now? It is M medium normal weight body, and obviously it's abbreviated, so you'll just have to find which one it is. And once that's done, we're just going to enable all the missing plugins, and it'll prompt us to restart. But don't just click restart right now. I'm just going to clean my folders up because I was preparing this before I recorded the tutorial. So I'm just going to delete this other Metahuman folder which has nothing in it. You don't have to do this. So before we restart, we're going to open up our Metahumans folder, click the one that you have imported, and we're just going to drag the BP. Mine's called BP Ralphie, so I'm just going to drag BP Ralphie into the scene and then restart it. That'll just stop us restarting like a load of times after. So that is our metahuman imported, and we will be changing the default character to our metahuman later on. So let's just change the LOD sync. If we just open up the blueprint for your metahuman, go to forced LOD and change it to 1. This will enable the hair at all distances. But for now, we don't really need this metahuman, so we can just delete it out of the scene, and we're going to close this tab. Next, I want to show you how to retarget all the animations from the animation starter pack that we added to the project earlier. If you have your own animations, this will work the exact same, so feel free to use your own. I'm just going to use the default ones from Epic Games from the animation starter pack. So let's just click on the filter, and we're going to filter it by animation sequence. And if we just click Control A, it'll select them all. We're going to right click and click retarget animation. So this is a new feature in Unreal, and we used to have to sort out all the bones and everything like that, and now we don't have to, so we can just literally select whatever skeleton and it'll retarget all the animations and do everything for us. So that's pretty sweet. So the skeleton we need is a SK Mani, and it's the SK Mani Simple that we're going to use because that's the one that we selected our third person character with. Right here I have no idea what's going on. I think that's just like a visual bug, but yeah, that looks pretty weird. We're going to select all the animations, press Ctrl A and click Export Animations. And I want to make a new folder for our animations. So instead of putting them in here, I'm going to make a brand new folder. Let me just select content, right click, new folder, and we're going to change this to retargeted animations. And the prefix is going to be RTG for retargeted. That'll just make it a lot easier to find later, so make sure you do RTG and then underscore. Okay, sweet. So now we have all of our retargeted animations, and if you open it up, you can see that it works with our default third-person character skeleton, or SK Mani skeleton. So now we're going to do our first bit of proper work in the anim graph, and let's add a idle rifle animation for our character. So let's just head into the locomotion state of our anim graph, and we're going to open up idle, and we're going to search for our retargeted animation, which will be RTG underscore idle underscore rifle underscore hip. So that's the one I'm using. This is just going to be our default one. So if we just drag it straight onto there, we can change it like that, or we can just drag it here next to it and plug it in. And as you can see, our default animation changes from the normal idle to our new retargeted rifle hip animation. So what we're going to be doing later is we're going to be making it so that we can switch between idle, unarmed, and rifle. So we're going to have two different states, and I will show you how to pick a animation for if you have a gun or if you're unarmed. And this will be the same for crouching, for sprinting, basically for even jumping. We'll do it for everything. So it's going to look pretty good and pretty clean. So one problem I have had recently when changing all the animations is the foot IK, and that is, so if you say you stood on a ledge and your left foot's on the ledge and the right foot isn't, that one foot will just be like floating in the air and it won't use the IK that it's supposed to. So let's open up our control rig, and this is going to be the CR Mannequin Basic Foot IK control rig. You can just search that in, it's at the top right there. And once we have this open, we're going to get some transform nodes and sort out this broken foot IK. So drag off the A pin. Oh no, sorry, we're going to actually just right click in the open space. We're going to search for get transform, and you want this one here, and make sure it's green at the top. That's the correct one that you want. Then we're going to change the name to foot underscore L, duplicate it, and we're going to change this one to foot underscore R. Next, we need to set these transforms, so we're going to drag out of transform, drag up just like this, and we're going to set the transform, click this one right here, and we're going to connect this, so we're going to duplicate it and then connect it, just like that. Next, click the item, and we're going to click the drop down box, change the name to IK foot L, and then do the same for the one on the right, just with the IK foot underscore R. So this is setting our normal foot left and foot right to the IK foot L and the IK foot R. Now I did follow the course for the animation ecosystem, and this is basically how I learned how to do this. So I don't really know a lot about this bit, like to do with inverse kinematics, but I'm trying to learn just like you are right now, so just bear with me. So once we have everything here, what we want to do next is just connect it up to this little pin here, and this is the execution pin. I'm actually just going to break these two and make it just like that, and delete this little bit here. Next we just need to comment it, so we actually have a clue what's going on in here. So I'm going to name this set foot IK, And now your IK for your foot should be fixed if it was broken. And if we go over to our little ramp here, like I said before, one foot's on, one foot's off, and it is not floating, and the foot IK is working perfectly fine. So that's pretty good. And if we just do it on this little ledge, you can see maybe a little bit better how the foot stands on the ledge. Right, okay, so let's create our custom walk run animation, and for this we need a blend space 1D. So if you just right click anywhere in your content browser, search for blend space 1D, and just click it right here. Then we're going to choose the skeleton as the SK mannequin skeleton because that's the one we're using. Rename this as BS1D underscore walk slash run. And then we're just going to open this up and I'll show you exactly how it works. So the basic premise of this is that when your speed on the left hand corner here, so it's on 0 now, right, in the left hand corner, and the right hand corner it's on 100. So when we go from 0 speed, we'll play one animation, and then when we go to 100 speed, we'll play another one, and in between it'll blend it. So let's just change the preview mesh here on the right hand side to SKM Mani. Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it anyway. And for the first animation, we need our idle one, because when our speed is 0, we're obviously not moving, and we want to be idle. So we're going to play that idle animation. So let me just search it here, and it's going to be RTG underscore idle underscore rifle underscore hip. And if we hold shift, we can place it on the graph just here. Right. So that is 0 speed done, and for the next one I'm going to add a jogging animation. And if I just search in the asset browser here, I should be able to find my jog animation. I think it's like jog forward or something like that. Yeah, jog forward rifle, again holding shift, I'm going to place that on 100. So as you can see, 0 to 100, and it'll just blend in between both animations. But that is not going to be good enough for what I want, because I want it to be even cleaner and I want the animations to be proper. So what we're going to do is move this right point over to the middle, just like this, and we're going to add another animation for sprinting. And this is going to be RTG sprint forward rifle, and as you can see, we go from 0 idle, middle jogging, up to sprinting when we reach the maximum speed. So the maximum speed right now is 100, and we need to change that. And the way that you do that is you click horizontal axis on the left hand side. I'm going to change this name to speed. The minimum speed is obviously 0 because that's when we're standing still, and the maximum speed needs to be the maximum walk speed of our character, and I'll show you how to check that now. So let's just go into the BP third person character. Click movement, and we're going to type in max walk speed, and you want to set this to whatever this is here. So this is 500, so we're going to change this to 500. And as you can see, the points change because it was on 100 and now it's not. So let's just change this to 0.2, and you can change obviously all the blending settings and stuff like that, and we're going to move this to 500 speed, so when we reach 500 we want to be sprinting. So let's just drag this all the way to the right hand side, just like that, and then the jogging one is going to be in the middle. Okay, perfect. Also, if you don't know how I'm previewing this, you got to hold control, and when you hover the mouse over it, it'll change the speed. So let's just check this out, and we go from nothing to nothing because I've not added it into the animation blueprint. So let's just find our blend space that we just created. So it's BS1D underscore walk slash run, and we can just drag it on top of it and it'll replace it, or you can add it and delete this one, doesn't really matter. Now if we just compile and play, you can see that we are now idling in a rifle animation that we retargeted, and then we transition or we blend up into sprinting once we reach our speed. So right now I'm on 0 speed, and then when we run we transition to 500 speed and it transitions the animations. So that is looking pretty good. So that is it for part 1. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in part 2.